I think this program is one of the best ones I've ever done, and I think I was lucky to do it.
This has to be probably the most uncomfortable I felt in any of the programs, which is exactly what I think they were going for. Just like putting us out of our comfort zone, which I think is awesome.
It was the best program I've ever participated in here at the Academy so far.
The Leadership 44 campaign and project resulted in a remarkable fleet of boats. A fleet of boats that is second to none at any other institution in the world.
I was privileged to come on board as superintendent when we were just commissioning the very first one. And now 2 years later, we have all 8 here at the Academy, and this summer for the first time, every second-class cadet got a Leadership 44 coastal sail training experience.
It's 10 days underway where the cadets come down to the waterfront. They'll spend their first 2 days here getting aboard the boats. They'll receive some instruction on how to sail, how to live aboard the vessel with their classmates, up to 5 other classmates and an officer. And after they've got those 2 days under their belt, we send them off for 8 days underway.
I got to go to a lot of cool places that I'd never been to, that I'd only heard about. And pulling into the harbors and having everybody seeing U.S. Coast Guard Academy written on the side of our boats and looking at us and being proud of what we were doing was an awesome feeling.
You'd be watch captain one day, the next day you would go be the cook. So it was going from like the highest voice to one of the lowest ones. But being able to understand that each time that you do switch a role, that there is value in that, and learning to respect the limits of like your own position, I think is something that we all gain.
I find that when I let them do what they want, they start doing a lot of the things that the Coast Guard's been telling them to do for a long time on their own because they see the practical application of it.
They are being taught that they have to learn how to lead self before they can lead others, and that is all coming together on these beautiful boats.
It generates a lot of interest in the boating community. We'll see boaters drive up next to us and say, hey, is that a Morris? And sort of with pride we can say, you know, yes it is.
The boats are incredible. I mean, I don't know what more there is to say. They're beautiful.
The new boats are definitely the nicest sailboats I've ever been on, and probably the nicest boats I'll ever sail on.
They are so nice. The boats are absolutely amazing.
It only is 44 feet, but it felt so much like bigger. The condition of them is great, and I'm like really thankful for the people that actually work on it.
The performance of the boat in general allows us to sail to further ports, have longer legs, which allow for more variables for the cadets to consider over time.
Some of the more advanced evolutions that we're able to do on the CSCP boats, spinnaker evolutions and things like that, are safer and easier to control on new L44s than they ever were on the Looters.
So they're underway probably 14 to 16 straight weeks, and there's not many vessels that receive that type of work, and certainly recreational vessels don't. So having these new boats, sturdy boats, rugged boats, dependable boats that don't require the type of maintenance that would shut us down was integral to making sure we had 100% of the second class go through.
They're above and beyond what I would have expected, but they're exactly what we need so that the boats are no longer limiting the potential of what the cadets are going to get out of this program. And before with the Looters, they certainly were.
Habitability has increased a great deal, and so that allows us to do a lot more team building in the sense of productive debriefs.
During each debrief, we would try to find examples as to how we were able to fulfill these principles, and some days we didn't. And then we realized, like, that was one of those blaring moments, like, oh man, I didn't really model the way, I didn't walk the walk.
Toward the end of the trip, it was great to see that that I could kind of start doing things like without being told by myself. Like, you see something that needs to be changed or fixed or adjusted, and you just start doing it all by yourself.
When you're a third class, you can kind of take it upon yourself to lead as much as you want to, but now on this boat, small environment, and you're in a leadership position, like, you have to lead.
I think the last 2 years I tried to take in as much as I could, but finally getting that chance to see how I could put that into action, and then having that first good opportunity to do that, I think definitely taught me a lot about both myself as a leader and what I can improve on.
This is like the cherry on top, as in I'm ready to like go into this next semester prepared and confident in myself to take on more leadership roles than I have tried to in the past.
As a second class cadet, when I sailed on the Looters, I was one of 50% of my classmates that were able to do it. It was the most important experience I had at the academy. I remember thinking, like, it's crazy that not everybody gets to do this. And now that we're doing it, it just feels right. It's fair, it's the right thing to do.
I recognize, and I think every safety officer recognizes, that acquiring those boats was a huge effort on the part of a much broader Coast Guard community. And for me, just as a Coast Guard officer, it's valuable to see that the manifestation of that support that we know is always there, but this was certainly not something easy to do, and we really appreciate that people put the effort to do it.
We have upped our game because of it and improved the experience of the cadets in a tremendous way. And so thank you to those of you who have contributed.
I think our alums would all be very proud of these boats and the cadets. I thank the donors, the Parents Association, the Alumni Association, the Coast Guard Foundation for buying these boats.
Thank you, Alumni Association.
Thank you, Coast Guard Foundation.
Thank you, Coast Guard Academy Parents Association.